All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going on a seriously fascinating journey. We are going to trace a straight line from the interactive playground games you played as a toddler, all the way to the complex, highly mathematical linguistics of old-school rap music. I know, it sounds like a massive leap, but by the time we finish uncovering the hidden science of rhyme today, you're going to see exactly how deeply connected they really are. So, let me ask you something right off the bat. Do you actually know the true meaning behind your favorite childhood games? Think back for a second to the nursery rhymes you chanted as a kid. Did you ever stop to wonder where they actually came from? Most of us just accepted them as these ancient, fixed things that have just existed forever. But today, we're uncovering the primal impulses that drive our love for wordplay, and we'll see how those exact same impulses are still manipulating our ears every time we turn on the radio. Okay, picture this. Or better yet, imagine watching a home video of a bunch of toddlers playing one of the most famous rhymes out there, Ring-a-Ring-a-Roses. If you watch that video, what really jumps out isn't the singing. It's the pure physical interaction, right? They form a ring, their little hands grab tight, spinning around, then comes the fake sneeze, achoo, and then the absolute best part for them, literally throwing themselves on the floor. The words they're saying are inextricably tied to that physical action. It's basically a set of instructions building up to one massive interactive payoff. But we adults just love to overcomplicate things, don't we? I mean, you've definitely heard the rumor that Ring-a-Ring-a-Roses is actually this dark, macabre song about the Great Plague. The whole rosy being a plague rash, posies to cover the smell, sneezing as a death sentence. It sounds so convincing, but actually, scratch that. When you look at the historical timeline, the myth completely falls apart. The Great Plague hit London in 1665, right? And the Black Death was way back in 1348. But those specific lyrics, the sneezing and falling down, they didn't even show up in print until the late 19th century. That is more than 500 years later. It just doesn't add up with the historical record. And it's not just the plague one. For some reason, we constantly try to force these dark, historical conspiracies onto simple children's games. Take Humpty Dumpty. People will swear up and down it was a giant cannon from the English Civil War, or a mockery of King Richard III. But the reality? That cannon story was literally a spoof printed in a magazine in 1956. It's just a traditional European riddle. Or Baa Black Sheep. People frequently tie it to the slave trade, but historians have found absolutely zero evidence of that. We just cannot help over-intellectualizing the stuff we loved as kids. So, if it's not secret historical codes, why on earth have these rhymes survived for centuries? Well, back in 2009, a linguist named Bradley hit the nail on the head. He pointed out that it all comes down to an innate human impulse to recognize patterns and to anticipate what comes next. That's the secret sauce. Whether it's a playground game or chart-topping hit right now, our brains are hardwired with a primal urge for pattern recognition. We hear a setup and our brains actively, physically crave that sonic resolution. Which brings us to a really unexpected pivot in this explainer. How we jump directly from toddler playgrounds into hip-hop. Think back to that toddler in the video just buzzing with anticipation for the word down so they can hit the floor. Modern artists are tapping into that exact same instinct. They use rhyme as a crucial tool to build tension and then deliver a super satisfying release. To see exactly how this works on a scientific level, we've got to look at this incredible study by linguist Katerina Iliapoulou on Greek rap rhymes. It's fascinating because old-school Greek rappers aren't sitting around studying formal linguistics. They rely entirely on raw, native intuition to match sounds. That makes them the absolute perfect subjects to show how humans naturally perceive acoustic similarity. So, what did the data actually show? 87%. That is a massive number. A whopping 87% of the rhymes in the rap corpus she studied are what linguists call perfect rhymes. That's the gold standard. It's when an artist matches the exact identical vowels and the exact succeeding consonants. What this proves is that whenever they possibly can, an artist is going to give your brain the exact matching pattern it's begging for. But hey, you can't always make a perfect match, right? Especially when you're trying to tell a complex narrative and stay on beat. That's where the imperfect rhyme comes in. Sometimes a rapper has to force it. They keep the stressed vowels identical, but the consonants that follow differ just a little bit. They essentially have to bend at the phonemes. They rely on acoustic similarity to basically trick your ear into accepting the rhyme, which lets them keep the story flowing without ever sacrificing the groove. And here's where the math gets absolutely wild. When these Greek rappers use an imperfect rhyme, they aren't just mashing random words together. Over 75% of the time, they mismatch just a single acoustic feature. Less than 20% of the time, they mismatch two, and a tiny, almost negligible 5% of the time, they'll risk mismatching three. They are meticulously and subconsciously minimizing the acoustic differences. Without even knowing the formal science, they know exactly how far they can stretch a sound before your ear catches it and rejects it as a mistake. It's honestly like a linguistic tightrope walk. The study shows exactly how they bend these words. They might play with the place of articulation, where the sound is physically made in your mouth, or they tweak the manner of articulation, how the airflow is restricted. But the one thing they avoid like the plague, mismatches in voicing. Voicing is just whether your vocal cords are vibrating or not when making a sound. Changing that is incredibly obvious to the human ear. Rappers instinctively know that if they mess with the voicing, it shatters that subconscious pattern recognition we crave. So they'll happily bend the rules of articulation, but they guard that illusion of the rhyme fiercely. So here's a question I want to leave you with today. The next time you're streaming your favorite song, are you going to catch the artist forcing an imperfect rhyme? Will you actually notice them bending a consonant just barely enough to trick your ear but keeping the spell intact? Or, when you really get down to it, are they doing anything fundamentally different from what we did as kids, waiting eagerly for the word down so we could all fall into the grass? Our drive for pattern and resolution is just universal. Keep your ears open out there, and I will see you in the next explainer.